Welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be looking at some really cool ideas from a guy named Earl Shoaff. Now, you might know him as the Millionaire Maker.
Yeah, that's a pretty good nickname, actually.
Yeah, well, we have an excerpt from one of his talks.
Right.
And it's amazing how relevant it still is.
It really is. This
Yeah.
is a guy who went from literally pressing pants to becoming a millionaire
Yeah.
in just 4 years.
4 years. And we're not talking about someone who was, given a bunch of money or anything like that.
No, definitely not. He had a ninth grade education,
Wow.
faced some serious health challenges. But what I think is really fascinating about Shoaff is he uses this farming analogy.
Yeah.
He compares our desires to seeds that we plant and cultivate in our minds.
I like that. It's not just about setting goals, checking boxes.
Right, exactly. It's this whole process. It's understanding how these things actually happen, how they come to fruition.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's the whole journey.
Yeah. Shoaff was really ahead of his time, in understanding how our minds work. He talked about these universal laws, these laws that govern success and failure.
So it's not just luck,
No, not at all.
hard work.
It's more like, the laws of physics, gravity, electricity.
This is kind of like blueprint that we can tap into.
I think that's a really great way to put it. And, just like you wouldn't play around with electricity without understanding how it works, Shoaff believed you need to learn how to use these laws properly to achieve your dreams. He had some strong opinions
Yeah.
on traditional goal setting.
Okay.
He saw people setting these goals, big goals, but they'd only end up achieving a small fraction of what they set out to do.
That's definitely me. Yeah, that sounds very familiar.
I mean, New Year's resolutions, anyone.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that.
Absolutely.
Totally.
But what Shoaff believed was the missing piece was really defining and visualizing your desires. And by that, he means it's not enough to just have this vague idea of what you want, but to really get specific, almost like you're painting a picture.
Like really specific.
Super specific.
I see. Okay.
He uses this really great example of a red Cadillac convertible, and he describes it in such detail. He talks about white wall tires, the leather seats, the air conditioning. I mean, he really wants you to be there.
Wow. To experience that car.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. He's showing us, it's not just wanting a car.
Right.
It's wanting that specific car and feeling it. It's a whole different level.
It's not just writing something down on a piece of paper.
Not even close. It's much deeper than that.
Oh, I see.
And a mistake that people make is visualizing things vaguely. They'll say things like, I want piles of money, or I want a new house. But they don't define it. What does that actually mean to them?
Right.
What does it actually look like?
Like what kind of house? Yeah. What does that pile of money actually mean? How much is it?
What would you do with it?
Yeah.
What would you do with it?
And that's where the results end up being just as vague, right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like he tells that story about his niece. She visualized piles of money,
Yeah.
but all she ended up with was a job counting someone else's money at a bank,
Oh, that's funny.
right?
Yeah. Really drives home the point. Now, here's a concept that was really interesting to me. Shoaff talks about the importance of writing thank you on your defined goal
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
and putting it away. What's that all about?
Yeah, I know. This might seem a little strange at first,
It did to me.
but the idea here is acceptance and trust. It's about that subconscious mind, that power that's working behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
And it's like planting a seed in the ground, right?
Right.
You don't keep digging it up every day to see if it's growing.
You have to trust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You trust the natural process. You let nature do its thing. So it's like letting go of that control and just having faith that things are working in the background.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. You've defined it. You've visualized it. Now you're surrendering it to something bigger than yourself and trusting that it will come to fruition.
But what about the doubts? Everyone has doubts.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you deal with them?
Well, Shoaff talks about this too. As you go about your day, you might have these recurring thoughts about your goal.
Okay.
He says, don't dismiss them as anxiety, that these are actually signs that your goal is on its way.
So it's good to have those thoughts.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
View them as positive confirmations that the universe is working on your behalf.
Wow, that's kind of a mind shift.
It is. And then he goes even further and says, act as if your goal is already achieved.
Oh, I see. Not just visualize it, but really like embody it.
Exactly. He believed that when you start expecting something to happen, your whole attitude and behavior changes.
You start walking taller,
Yeah, feeling more confident.
maybe attracting the right opportunities.
It's like you believe they're already yours.
So it's not about forcing positive thinking,
Yeah.
but rather this natural shift that happens when you really believe.
That's a great way to sum it up. And this is where the conscious mind comes in. Shoaff calls it the guardian of the gate,
The guardian of the gate.
meaning that we have the power to choose which thoughts we allow into our subconscious.
It's like we're the bouncers at a nightclub,
That's a good analogy.
deciding who gets in.
Exactly. And he uses this great example of a morning routine. He talks about how dwelling on negativity in the newspaper first thing in the morning can set the tone for your whole day.
So you're inviting those negative thoughts in and giving them a front row seat.
Absolutely. And this is where the power of choice comes in. We don't have to be victims of our own negative thoughts. We can choose to focus on the positive, cultivate an optimistic outlook, and create an environment where our desires can flourish.
Wow. This is some powerful stuff.
It really is.
I mean, it's like we have this power to shape our own reality.
We do. It's all about tapping into it, but we often forget about it, right?
Well, it's a big idea.
It is.
To think that, like, our relationships,
Right.
our financial situation,
Right.
like all these things
It all comes back to this.
are a reflection of our mindset.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're like attracting these experiences into our lives.
He has this example of someone complaining about having a lousy bunch of distributors,
Yeah.
for their business.
Right.
And Shoaff's point is that, that person attracted those distributors because of their energy, their beliefs.
Okay. I can see how that might be a little hard to swallow for some people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's easy to blame external things, but,
Yeah.
if we're honest with ourselves, we've probably all experienced how our attitude impacts,
Of course.
the people we attract, the situations we end up in.
He has this great quote, "What I am speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say."
Wow. That's a good one. Really
Yeah.
makes you think. It's like our actions and our energy speak louder than our words.
Absolutely.
Like you were talking about defining your desires clearly.
Yes.
Um,
It's crucial.
Shoaff tells this story about a friend
Okay.
who tried to visualize an ocean voyage. He had all the sensations, the wind in his hair,
Yeah, I remember this one.
smell of salt water, the
Oh.
sun.
Vivid.
But he forgot one crucial detail.
Uh-oh.
And this is not going to end well.
This is a classic Shoaff story.
What did he forget?
He forgot to specify that he was a passenger on the ship.
Oh, no.
So he ended up experiencing an ocean voyage, all right.
Oh, no.
But as a sailor in the Navy.
Oh, my gosh. Talk about a visualization gone wrong. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you just say, look, I want food.
Right. Who knows what you're going to get?
Yeah, who knows what you're going to
It's
get?
got to be specific.
Same with our desires, I guess. If we're not crystal clear about what we want, we're kind of leaving it up to chance.
Yeah.
And we might not like the results. Now, Shoaff also talks about how we often, limit ourselves with our own beliefs.
Yeah, this is huge.
He mentions parents, unintentionally discouraging their kids' dreams,
Right.
telling them they're not smart enough or talented enough.
Uh-huh.
And that really resonated with me because,
It's powerful.
he believed that this negative programming,
Yeah.
it could stick with us for years, holding us back from even trying
Absolutely. It's like we're planting weeds in our mental garden.
instead of flowers. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much potential is out there just waiting to be unleashed if we could just get rid of these limiting beliefs.
It's incredible to think about.
And he really encourages us to be mindful of the messages we're sending,
Yes.
not just to ourselves, but to the people around us, especially kids. I mean, they're so impressionable, aren't they?
They really are, like sponges.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility to nurture and encourage, help them see what's possible.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to actually achieving these goals, like making them happen,
Okay.
Shoaff really emphasizes acceptance.
Right.
It's not enough to just put in the effort.
It's the other side of the coin.
We also have to be open to receiving.
Exactly.
So it's about cultivating a sense of worthiness.
You got it. He had this saying, "You'll never have anything without giving." And he really believed that everything we put out into the world comes back to us, multiplied.
Whether it's love and kindness
Yeah.
or even negativity.
It all comes back. It's that law of attraction, right?
Yeah.
What you focus on expands.
Yeah, totally. He also talks about the importance of recognizing and letting go of negative thought patterns.
Right.
We're not meant to be victims of our inner critic, are we?
No, we're not. We have that power. Remember the guardian at the gate.
The guardian of the gate, yeah.
Our conscious mind can filter those thoughts out
Okay.
and focus on the positive.
So it's not about pretending those negative thoughts aren't there.
No.
It's about making a choice,
Exactly.
not to give them power over us.
We have way more control than we realize
Okay.
over our thoughts and our emotions.
It's like we're the drivers in our own lives.
Yeah. That's a pretty powerful shift.
We choose the destination.
We do.
We decide how to get there. But what about when things get tough,
Right.
those inevitable setbacks,
Sure.
obstacles along the way?
Well, he wouldn't sugarcoat the challenges of life. He actually compares it to planting a seed. You plant a seed in the ground. You don't dig it up every day to see if it's sprouted, right?
Uh-huh.
You trust the process. You're patient. You let it grow at its own pace.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in wanting results right away.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's not really how it works, is it?
Not usually. Real growth takes time, consistent effort.
And when those doubts come in, those fears,
Yeah.
Shoaff has a solution.
He does.
Remember the thank you technique. He says, use that same approach when you start feeling discouraged,
I see where you're going with it.
questioning yourself.
Okay, yeah.
So instead of dwelling on the negativity,
Right.
you say thank you.
Uh-huh.
And you reaffirm that belief that everything's working out as it should.
It's like acknowledging those doubts, but not letting them take over.
It's almost like a reset button
Yeah, I like that.
to stay focused on what you want. Trust in the process. Trust the subconscious.
And he promises that, if we keep nurturing those desires, cultivating a positive mindset and taking action consistently,
Okay.
we'll start to see those seeds blossom.
Might not happen overnight,
No.
but with effort, with belief, with trust,
It's like magic almost.
it is. But
Yeah.
really, it's just the power of our own minds.
Exactly. We have this incredible capacity to shape things, to attract the things we want, to live a life that is full and joyful and purposeful.
Shoaff leaves us with this final thought, a really inspiring one. He says, be a sun,
A sun?
a creator,
Okay.
a creator of light, a creator of ideas, not a moon, which just reflects.
Oh, I love that.
He's calling us to step into our power,
Right.
embrace those gifts that we
Wow.
have, and shine brightly. Wow. That was amazing.
That was a powerful deep dive.
A really powerful deep dive into the wisdom of Earl Shoaff. I'm super inspired to start applying this stuff right now.
Me too. It really makes you realize how much potential we all have.
So to our listener, think about what really spoke to you today. What seeds are you ready to plant? What steps can you take right now to start creating that life that you want? Remember, you're the creator. The power to make your dreams happen is inside you. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep reaching for those stars.